I believe that noodles can change the world. 7 years ago, I was working at what was once my dream job as alumni director of my alma mater, Berea College. You've heard about Berea a little bit today. An extraordinary liberal arts college 30 miles north of here that provides a full tuition scholarship for every student. I was charged with fostering relations with 17,000 alumni worldwide, and I was drawn to that work because I believed in Berea's mission. I believed in educational access. I believed in leveling the playing field. I took great pride in knowing that I played some small part in helping to empower and uplift the next generation. But something happened about 9 years into that work. I found myself doing more and more tasks that had little or nothing to do with the college's mission. I was planning events. I was planning reunions. I was spending most of my time asking people for money to do my work. There was a particularly defining moment when I got to attend the graduation services for the graduating class of 2012, and peace activist Parker Palmer challenged the graduating class to go out into the world and find your place where your deep gladness meets the world's deep needs. I quit my job the next day. Coincidentally, I was also turning 40 that year, and everybody thought I was going through a midlife crisis, but I assure you I wasn't. It just suddenly became painfully clear to me that I had 25 work years left, and it was up to me to figure out how I was going to spend it. I would spend the next 4 years as the executive director of a regional rape crisis center that covered 17 counties in central Kentucky. I had a $1.1 million budget, and during my time, we shook things up. For the first time ever, we invited survivors to be part of the conversation, to serve on our board, to be on our staff, to volunteer with us. We also worked with local police departments to allow our victims' advocates to accompany survivors during police interrogations. And rather than wait for people to show up at our door, we took our work to the streets. We met survivors in rural libraries and Mexican grocery stores and African American churches. It would appear that perhaps I had found that place where my deep gladness met the world's deep needs. But 4 years into that work, I was at that same exact familiar place again. I found myself planning fundraisers and charity balls, many of which had ticket prices that were too high for the people I was serving to even attend. And I was spending 80% of my time fundraising and asking people for money to do my work. There was a pivotal moment when a very well-meaning, lovely restaurant in Lexington offered to partner with the Rape Crisis Center, and they wanted to donate a portion of their proceeds on this one slowest day of the year to the Rape Crisis Center. So my husband, Adam, our then 8-year-old son, and I, we drove that 1-hour drive from our home in Berea, and we had a wonderful meal, and the next day, I walked away with a check for $62.50. My budget was $1.1 million. I knew right there and then that there had to be a better way, that nonprofits should be able to focus on building and strengthening communities, and small businesses should be garnering their social capital and their networks to have significant impacts on the communities that house them. About that same time, remember I was turning 40 that year, I was also celebrating a 20th college reunion, and I hosted 30 of my best friends over at my house. My Thai mom, who lives with us, decided to fix one of my childhood family favorites for my friends. It's Mom's Curry Noodles, the top seller at our restaurant right now. It's slow braised beef in yellow curry over rice noodles with fresh bean sprouts, soft-boiled eggs, grilled tofu, and chopped peanuts. Now, I had friends from all over in that group. They were from Houston, Texas, and Frankfort, Kentucky, and Raleigh, North Carolina, and New York City, and right here from Corbin. And there were a couple of guys in that group that were self-proclaimed meat and potatoes kind of guys, the kind of guys that would go to restaurants and order chicken fingers and french fries, you know. I kid you not when I tell you this, that every single one of those 30 bowls were slurped clean. And I knew that I was onto something. The next year, I quit my job at the Rape Crisis Center, and so did my husband, Adam, who had spent 16 years working in the IT industry. For some reason, we felt uniquely qualified with our vast experiences in mindfulness training and Microsoft certifications to open up a business with one of the highest failure rates and the lowest profit margins. We opened a restaurant, a noodle shop to be exact, and we called it Noodle Nirvana, and we opened it on Main Street, America, or rather Chestnut Street, Berea, Kentucky. And we had a very simple mission: to create epic noodle bowls and change the world. Similar to Chipotle or Subway, rather than building a burrito or a sandwich, Noodle Nirvana customers build noodle bowls, modeled after street vendors in Thailand, where broths are slow simmered all day and noodle bowls are assembled right in front of customers. Customers at Noodle Nirvana go through 3 easy steps. Step 1, choose a noodle. Step 2, choose a broth or sauce. Step 3, choose a protein, beef, chicken, or tofu. And then we garnish the bowl with fresh vegetables. And when in season, we get those vegetables from our local farmers. And when we can, we source our food from Kentucky proud food providers. And we intentionally built long family-style tables so that travelers can dine alongside locals, and so that college professors can sit next to the farmers that grew their zucchini. And we start all of our staff, from dishwashers to line cooks, at $10 an hour. And we give them set days off with set schedules so that they can lead full and abundant lives outside of work. And at the very core of what we do is the notion that we belong to each other. In fact, those words are inscribed permanently on the wall as you enter our restaurant to serve as a daily reminder of why we do what we do. And we breathe those words into action every day by partnering with one nonprofit and donating 20% of our first Tuesday proceeds to that nonprofit for 12 months, along with all of our tips for 365 days. The first year, we partnered with a nonprofit called the New Opportunity School for Women that helps Appalachian women overcome barriers to education, employment, and financial independence. Along with our customers and our staff, we raised $30,000 for the New Opportunity School. Thank you. The second year, we partnered with our local food bank's backpack program that provides food for children on weekends and holidays when they don't have access to school cafeterias. The second year, we raised $44,000. And this year, we're partnering with Hope Swing's domestic violence program, which is a 16-bed residential facility that provides emergency shelter and programs for victims of domestic violence. In the first 6 months of our partnership, we've already raised over $20,000 for Hope Swings. You know, when we first started this dream, it was just going to be me and my mom and her curry noodles, and we were maybe going to have a part-time person, and my original business plan projected that if we were lucky, we would sell 30 noodle bowls a day. 2.5 years later, we have 13 staff, and we sell anywhere between 700 to 1,000 noodle bowls a week. And last year, despite giving away over $40,000 to charitable causes, and despite paying our staff $2.75 more an hour than most restaurants in our region, we are right in line with industry standards when it comes to food costs and occupancy costs. And we're actually doing better with our profits than most restaurants, fast casual restaurants in our industry. Now, we are a little bit higher when it comes to payroll costs, but we knew that going in, and we're okay with that. Our staff are the most valuable ambassadors of our mission. A third have been with us from day one. A third have been with us for 1 to 2 years. Since we opened in 2016, 2.5 years ago, we've made $1.2 million in sales, and our sales are increasing at the average monthly rate of 15%. We're also in conversations with 3 different groups who are interested in franchising our business model. Noodles can change the world. Imagine if every small business in your community partnered with one nonprofit. And imagine that they did that every year and just took turns taking care of each other, taking care of your community's most pressing needs as if they belonged to each other. Imagine colleges being able to focus on educating students rather than building endowments. And rape crisis centers being able to focus on eradicating sexual violence rather than throwing charity balls. I believe that this is not only possible, but a necessary paradigm shift for all of us. If we truly belong to each other, and our communities are all experiencing human suffering like poverty and homelessness and hunger, we cannot place the sole responsibility for addressing these issues on nonprofits alone. If small businesses truly are the backbone of America, we need to start investing in the people and the communities who are investing in us. Thank you.